Hi, hello, everybody. Welcome in, welcome in. Welcome to the gender diverse panel. Oh, let me turn myself off because I can hear myself, and that sounds gross. My name is London Bradshaw. I'm a member of Team Stream Queens, and I'm a member of the Sisters of the Fog here on Twitch. I am a non-binary Black content creator. And yes, before anything is said, I will just say it so we can move on with it. Yes, I did just hit partner on Wednesday. Thank you. We are doing the Lord's work over here and being Black and vibing. But we're here to talk about different genders, whether just the diversity of gender. That's all I'm gonna say. We're not here to talk about one gender because gender is a concept. And so we're here to talk about with these black amazing loves with all of the different walks of life that we come from. So we're just gonna get started. There are some people on this panel that I was like, yes, bitch, let's go. Let's get the party started. So let's start the party. They have been working all damn day, and I am so glad that they were here and took the time to be here tonight. It's Control Alt Quinn. Hello, my love. How are you? Welcome
Hello.
in.
Hi. Yes, I'm so happy to be here. My name is Control Quinn. My pronouns are they, them. I'm Black. And yeah, I got really big red hair. I love it.
We stand. Thank you for doing this event. How has your day been going so far? You've been a little busy today.
Yeah, I've been working all day. I've been doing lots of panels, educational talks, interviews, all of it supporting Juneteenth. And I'm so honored to be here on the first actual federal Juneteenth. Like this, like it's a holiday now. Like it's real.
It's real.
And
Like
this is we're making history right now. Like this is history happening. So yeah, I feel good, and I'm so honored to be here amongst all y'all amazing people.
yes. Also, I love your hair. I love the red. You're like, I have big red hair. I'm like, yes, but you better work. So up next, I met this beauty when she was looking at what Glucose Guardian houses on their stream. And I just clicked follow, and I was like, what's happening? And so then, to be honest with you, I'm not gonna lie, I started looking at rental houses on stream, and it's actually probably one of the most things to do with your community. So Sham Bam, do you want to tell us what you were doing that day and tell the audience hello and what's going on?
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Sham Bam. Thank you, ma'am. You can just call me Sham. We were looking for houses that our glucose guardians could buy us so that we don't have to live and work anymore. They're gonna buy it for us, our glucose guardians, sure. Or if you rather do the sugar mama, sugar daddy, or sugar parents, if you will, glucose guardians is the way for 2021.
I just like rain on me parent. That's what I call it, rain on me parent. Rain on me parent
trick.
Yeah, but who are you? Where can we find you?
Oh, I am always streaming Wednesday through Sunday on twitch.tv/shambam. Thank you, ma'am. I am a comedian and a variety streamer. And of course, my pronouns she and they.
Yes. And the lovely, iconic, I miss you. You're not around anymore because you work so much. But I'm glad that you're here. Thank you for doing this with us, and thank you for coming back to Juneteenth after reclaiming our time, which is a Black History Month event in February. It's called The Flower. Hello, my love.
Hi, how are you? Yeah, I'm called the Flower. I go by she, they. I am a variety streamer. I'm also a team member of Sisters of the Fog. And I know I'm so sorry. The bank life it's it, but it's not because the hours, no. So I apologize, but I miss you guys so much. But thank you for having me.
Yes. Flower and I got on the same time for Sisters of the Fog, so I'm super excited that I was like, hey yo, let's apply to this together. So yeah, I'm excited to be here. Non-binary power. We have the their makeup is stunning. your makeup is just so iconic right now. I love this. Vixen Von Flex, how are you, my love? Thank you for doing this panel with us. We're happy to have you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. My name is Vixen Flex. I use any pronouns leaning more towards they and she. And I am a non-binary drag artist and burlesque artist here. And you can find me on Instagram and on Twitch, mostly.
Yes. Um, and last but not least, coming from my gig, my eye looks, everything about their makeup is iconic. But if you ever steal this check mark from me, I'll just hand it over. You don't have to steal it. You can just ask for it. You know, I'm willing to share. Rathi, how are you, icon legend?
I'm doing wonderful. Hello, everyone. My name is Rothy. Rothy Yumping on Twitch. My pronouns are he, she, they. I answer to any pronouns. All comes with respect.
Yeah.
I'm also a variety streamer. And getting into makeup. And this is again, 10 months and 2 days as of today that I've been doing it.
Can you just like lean into your camera real quick? Lean closer. Close your eyes. Let's see it. Let's see the eye look. Oh my gosh, Rathi. What? Come on, blend. Okay, well, if you ever embarrass me like that again in front of my friends, we're gonna have a problem.
Teach me how to baby.
Yeah. So we come from all walks of life. I am a non-binary human being. Most of us are. We're not gonna ask questions regarding that, but we're gonna ask questions regarding our experiences in life of being non-gender conforming humans. So I'm super excited to do this panel. So a little bit about me. Again, I'm Lyndon Bradshaw. I'm a non-binary Black content creator here on Twitch. And if you don't like me, my name is none that you need to know of right now because we're just gonna move on from that subject. But I realized that I was non-binary through the art of drag because I don't like being called bro. I don't like being called cis. I mean, cis doesn't bother me. It's like a drag term. But I realized that what made me more powerful and made me realize I was non-binary, believe it or not, was me fucking with the construction of drag. Because when most people people think that when you do drag, you have to wear hair, pads, wigs, you have to have lashes, you have to have like the nails, you have to have everything. And I love taking my wigs off and like having my natural haircut and like makeup on. And I just feel the most powerful, which is like between the two art structures of what we have going on with drag. And so I was like, I don't like the term he, him, or she, her. I prefer they, them, but I will go by whatever you prefer. Just don't call me bro in drag, because if you've been to my streams, you you can see what happens when that happens. But asking a couple questions for you all. What does gender diverse mean to you? That's a little bit about me and how I found out like what gender diversity has brought to me in my life. So like, what does gender diverse mean to you, and how has it been brought to your life, or how did you discover like you don't want to identify with one possible gender, if that's fair to ask? And if you're not comfortable talking about it, please don't be afraid to say I don't want to talk about it, London.
Yeah, so I'll talk because I love to talk about this. My gender diverse experience started in childhood. When I feel like I didn't fit in any of the boxes that I was being placed in, especially from my parents and also like the greater society. And then like I had a therapist one time when I was a kid, because that's how long I've been like in this whole loop, who didn't ask me, like, they were like, hey, so what's your name? And I said my name, and they were like, okay, fine. Yeah. And didn't ask any questions. I was like that. And I was like, that made me feel so euphoric and happy for them to just like not question my identity, my name, anything like that, and what I wanted to be called. And that's when it clicked for me. And I was like 13. I was like 13 or 14 when that happened. And and here we are now. And now I'm a Twitch streamer. But
and I mean, like, you could like being on Twitch and talking about gender diversity also like really helps people, because you don't know who you're actually like reaching out to, because you have a lot of people who are lurking possibly. I feel like we all can agree with that. But it's really cool to know that there is someone that you could change someone's life within like the conversation you're having while you're playing the video game when it comes to those subjects. So we're happy to have you. I've sat in your chats and I've listened to how you go about your talks of gender diversity. So I'm like, I need to talk to them. I need to talk to you, and I want you to be here. So I'm glad to have you. Anyways, anybody else? What does gender diversity mean to you, and how did we discover where we wanted to be gender possible non-conforming?
Well, I guess I can talk on that part. Well, since I was a younger Sham, I've always wore like guy clothes. Not because I wanted to be a guy. I just felt more comfortable dressing in that. And I felt like gender diversity became more important to me as I got older, especially with dating, especially in my area, when people are like wanting to put you in certain paradigms of what part of gay are you or what part of lesbian are you. I came out as bi to begin with, you know. Now I identify as pan, but then like they'll look at you and say, "Oh, you're butch and you're this," and I'm like, actually, I just like being comfortable. Is that a crime? You know, I just it got important to me because the problem was like what they have to make an identity. I can't talk. They have to make an identity for what kind of clothes you wear. Why can't it just be clothes? So that doesn't have to have like men's clothes or women's clothes. It can just be called clothes. Simple as that. That's it for me.
Yeah, Vixen, you were gonna say something as well.
Oh yeah, I just feel like for me, it just really means being comfortable in your own skin and really finding out what vibes for you. And I just think it's really important because I think it's always been there for me personally. It's always been there. I just didn't really have the language for it. And then I started, meeting other people in life, meeting different types of people, and it just really non-binary just really resonated with me. And I was like, wow, that's me. That makes a lot more sense than like trying to fit into any box of what, you should be or people say you should be or what you look like you identify or what you look like.
Yeah. Flower, Rafi, either one of you?
Yeah. Go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
Rafi.
Okay. So just to piggyback a little bit off of what both Vixen and Cham both have said, for me, where it was really like I discovered it, but then later on it became more apparent to me, or like I'm more aware of it, was when one day I was finally able to shop for my own clothing. But before then, it was always my grandmother, mostly my grandmother, and any family members would be like, "Oh, we got you some clothes," and it would be like 2XL, and I'm a medium, or at least I was then. So it would be swimming on me. And then finally, when I was able to shop for myself and like, you can't stop me from getting what I want to get. And I went into the section, I felt limited still. And it's like, I look over to my right and it's like, there's things over there I want to get, but it's like, how do I go about this? And that's where I started to know, it's like, this isn't, I'm in the middle. Like I'm here and here at the same time. And then later on, someone made a statement and I quote, by society's standards, I'm not what makes a man. So with that being said, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely not that, and I don't want to be that. So that was where my true discovery really came in. Between that and later on, a friend actually making that statement, it's like that's where I started discovering myself.
Yeah.
Oh.
Flower.
Just to kind of piggyback, yeah, like I definitely agree. With the like growing up, I was considered a tomboy, if you will, and I was the only girl in my family, so I played rough with all my boy cousins and stuff. And like I think like that, like it didn't have anything to do with that, but that's when I discovered I was like, you know what, like I think that like you said, Lyndon, like I don't like cis, I don't like. There's just certain things I'm just like, this isn't for me. But I think just like I like to dress a certain way. Like I like to dress differently, and I feel like people are just so, like you said, they put you in this box or they just like label you as this, and it's like, well no, like I'm not that. So I think that's kind of when I discovered it. when I was younger, and yeah, I don't like being put in a box.
Yeah. Boxes are gross. I think one of the biggest things I experience, I mean, they're just gross. Boxes, like even moving, like I don't like boxes. I just throw my shit into a bag. Like, I know that's not such a random thing. I just like don't like boxes. I don't like gender boxes either. So, I know that was such an off-topic comment, but I think that the things that we like people don't get as well, like doing drag is like, even though I'm non-binary, like drag is just like an art. Like people are like, I don't want to date a drag queen because you dress feminine, and I'm like, what does that mean? And they're like, well, I can't see my partner being a woman, and I'm not attracted to a woman. I was like, okay, well, I don't think that I'm a man either. So like, do you still want to fuck, or like what? You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, and I'm like, get out of my house. Anyway, so I'm just like, this is awkward. You should have told me this coming into this. You know, like I, you just it's like one of the biggest things is like being put in a box and like not having like, I think that's where I realized mostly when people were like, the major, like just drag in general was where I realized I was like, I could identify as non-binary. If you date me, I don't want to be referred as a boyfriend or a girlfriend, but it's like a partner. Please and thank you. So yeah, I know that's like a weird off-topic thing, but that's how I realized what within doing drag is where I realized what gender diverse meant to us, to me. My next question is does growing up not being cisgender look different for a Black person?
I'm ready for this.
I knew you were waiting. You were like, we are getting to it. You were like, spicy ready. Let them have
I
it.
just like, I think a huge thing that white people don't understand about Black people is that there's lots of like queer phobia, transphobia. There's all these like, it's so hard to be Black and queer. And growing up, your parents, like I would feel like from my parents, I'm gonna speak from my perspective because this is about me. I think they always knew, but they fought even harder to put me in the box that was opposite of what I felt or what I wanted to be. It definitely is different. And also, it's like because you're Black, right? We're already like marginalized. Now, be Black and queer. Now you're like, okay, we were already at the bottom. Now we're at the bottom. You know what I mean? So I think our parents, with their pain and trauma, tried to make it easier for us, but they also caused us more damage. And adding mental health stuff on that as well. Like yeah, that's all I had to say. I was ready for that. But I would definitely want to like talk about what Flowers said and Arathi said and Sham said. Like when you finally get to break free, right? And you can like you got your own money, you could buy your own clothes, all this stuff like that, and then you're suddenly you're like, oh, none of this feels good on me. This is what I want. This is what I want. None of those things really intersect, but they don't have to. I can make my own identity. I can be who I want. I just want to feel comfortable in my own skin. Anyways, that's what I gotta say. That's it.
And because we have such powerful voices here, before we continue going, exclamation point reparations in chat, which will let you know that education is not free here. And if you feel like tipping these panelists so they can walk away with some casheroonies for the education that they have given you today, feel free to do that. And if you have any questions in chat for us, respectfully, you can feel free to ask. And if any of these panelists also do not want to answer those questions, they don't have to. But if you have any questions about gender diversity or any questions specifically for anybody on this panel, feel free to use your channel points if you have to. If you don't have any channel points, you don't have to spend them, but we'd love to hear from you as well. Does anybody else have any opinions? I'm sure we do. I just wanted to slip that in there real quick. Just the way we know that, Black people aren't giving education for free today. So let's screw you, pay me. So Quinn, thank you for that. Yeah, say it. Let them have it.
Look, being Black and gender diverse, I can tell you now, especially since I had my summer jobs as a kid. I was able to start buying my own clothes as a kid, and I got questioned, why do you dress that way? I had to, and I also was like, along with me dressing a certain way, I was alternative black child, and I'm like, oh yeah, no, I skateboard and I listen to rock and stuff, and I already had to be judged as well as dressing as a boy for also being myself and listening to the things I listened to and by a lot of black people. I got picked on a lot back then by people of my own race because I was different, because I'm fat, because I'm black, because I dress like a boy. So listen to this. I watched Dawson's Creek, all of this stuff, Ignore the Dawson's Creek part, but but
I was like,
it was
Dawson's
just
Creek. I was like,
look.
sham.
We all have our vices, okay?
I watch Gossip Girl, so
Gossip Girl, it's really good. But
XOXO.
just imagine though, like trying to grow up that way and being told that you're not enough or you're not being how you're supposed to be by the people who you love, you grow up with, the people who are the same, melanin skin as you. It was really rough doing that and having to grow up with that. So yeah, that was a really hard, a lot of therapy, taking a lot of toll out of me, I guess I could say.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely agree with the both of what you said because yeah, like growing up, like I just felt like you said, it's already hard being queer and black, but like yeah, like you said, like it's just like uh I was like, yes, like preach. Um and then yeah, like being alternative, like I grew up listening to rock. I would hang out at the skate park. So like I just always like it's so much different. Like the difference, like we can do a Venn diagram, like pull it up. Like it's so different and it's just I don't know. Like it was so much and then like for our parents, like I feel like it was so hard for them to understand. Like I just feel like they genuinely didn't understand like our parents in the time zone and just like the upbringing as well. Like I just felt like it was so hard with that as well. So I don't know, but yeah, it's completely different.
Yeah. Like, for example, for me, like, and I agree completely with and can even relate, because from my perspective, like, I grew up in a very religious household to the point that literally I have a cousin that basically had me part of a ceremony that I didn't want to be part of. And to sit in the audience one day and basically hear him talking on topics, and then it's like you're sitting here like he's kind of going at me, and it's like, how do I talk to my family about this? So it's so much. It's like, oh, just give it some time. You're just questioning yourself, or it's like you hear that so many times. So it's not easy for us. Like, let's just keep it real.
Yeah, I really agree with everybody. I think it was already you're having a disadvantage in society with your experience, and I grew up in like a very small town on the island, and I was one of five Black people at my high school, so it was already different. I was probably the only queer one or the only open one that was queer that I know of. And it just, yeah, I just had a very different experience, I feel like, from everyone. And it's a little intense at times being in those country towns, but you know, I feel like at the same time, it was kind of cool because at a very young age, I was forced to learn a lot about myself and know what I liked, what I didn't like, what I stood for. I really feel like it helped me in a way find my place in the world, even if it was in a, a little bit of a fucked up way. But yeah, it was just very apparent from an early age, like I am very different from everybody else. And it was very obvious.
Yeah. I think growing up, I don't know about most of you, and this is like, I'm adopted, so my parents are white, so I feel like it was extra hard because I had white parents. And so like growing up, I could barely learn how to like do black things, not let alone be gay. Like I was like, fuck, I'm already in trouble. Like my parents don't know how to cut my hair. They don't know where I need to go. They don't know what items I need to use to survive as a black person. Um, the one thing I will appreciate my parents for is like not wearing a hood in the house and wearing a hood and walking down the street. Like take that shit off because that gets you in trouble. Um, And so I being gay and black comes with different experiences. So I'm glad that we could let people know because we are the voices of people right now. And and just that is alone is it's not easy. If you think it's easy, we already have people and target on our backs for our skin tone. So being queer and having a target on our back means double targets. So respect and listen to black queer content creators, artists, whoever you have in your life who is queer and black. Please, 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 please love them and hug them. Before we get to our next question, Pixie Cat Games says, did you ever respond to the question about why you're dressed a certain way with something along the lines of it's comfortable and end up in a situation where you had to push back against being scolded and or mocked for choosing comfort over societal conventions? So I didn't read that question very well, but if you go to our gender diverse panel section in the Discord, the question is right there. And I think it may be directed to everybody, but maybe closely kind of connects with Sham.
Every single time. But you're so pretty. You would look so pretty in this dress. You would look so pretty in this blouse. I don't want your damn blouse. Don't tell me to wear that blouse. No. So yes, I've heard it a lot. I've also been forced to wear dresses and stuff. Like there's pictures of me in high school and in middle school and stuff at military ball because I was in RTC. Pictures of me wearing all of those clothes, and if I promise, if you look at me in any of those clothes, I look like I'm uncomfortable. All those pictures, I look uncomfortable. I'm like my shoulders are up. I'm like, how do I stand in this? I do not do well in heels. I do not do well in heels. I'm flat-footed as hell. So
Same bestie, same.
same. Like give me some flats or something. But
Yeah.
yes, I've heard that all the time, especially from family members. You would be so pretty. Men will love you more if you were dressed like this. Okay. But yeah, heard that so many times.
Did anybody else have to forcefully dress in a different manner to societal conventions over how they feel comfortable?
Yes, I completely agree with you. And like Rothy said, I grew up in a very religious household as well. My grandpa is a pastor, so like for Easter Sunday, I would be forced to wear a dress, and I'm like, can I just wear like pants? Like, do I have to do this? Um, and then I only lasted a month at a Catholic school. And I had to wear a skirt, and I was like, no, never again. I'm not doing this. Like, and I was like, you know what? Like, this ain't for me. So I just didn't like that I had to have a dress code. Or I had to have a like society's dress code, if you will. And so I guess that was like the most frustrating. I'm like, I just want to wear what I want to wear. I want to be comfortable in what I wear and not like if it makes you uncomfortable, that's something that you have to deal with. And I mean, sorry, but sorry, not sorry. So yeah, I definitely feel your pain and it was very uncomfortable. And I just feel like, why is it that I have to explain something to you, or why is it I have to give you an explanation on why I'm wearing what I want to wear? Like, I just don't like being questioned, and I feel like that's something that's extremely rude and inconsiderate.
I personally, I was already like being myself when I was growing up, and I was very comfortable like dressing the way that I wanted to. And luckily, my mom was like super supportive of that, so I got to do that. But I ran into a lot of trouble because I was in gymnastics and dance growing up, and I couldn't understand why I couldn't dress the way that I wanted to there when I could in, my day-to-day life that I was already very comfortable. And yeah, I feel like I get like kind of like questioned a lot and in trouble a lot because a lot of the costumes and stuff when we were performing that, are for the boys are, first of all, they're shitty and very like they look like an afterthought. They don't look good. And I wanted to feel nice when I was performing. And I remember like a lot of times my coach just like would not understand why I wanted to wear makeup or why should I be doing this because they're very old school and they said that, that's not what you do. And yeah, I just couldn't really wrap my head around it. And I guess they couldn't wrap their head around it. And it was just like just a very awkward situation. And there was times where I was allowed to do the costumes and makeup that I wanted to do. And a lot of the times when that would happen, um, it would be a very good thing, and I would be hired back and requested to for specific looks and stuff. And yeah, I didn't really get it. Like, you're getting people. I feel like people did like, to see when you were happy because it did translate. It really did translate, but I don't think my coach got that very much.
Same, yeah. I did dance, and when we get our outfits, I'd be like, "What the fuck is this?" My mom would be like, "I bought this for you." I was like, "Well, it's ugly. Take it back." And it made me sound like a Tiva, but I'm like, "This is not what I want to wear. I want to wear a leotard and a tutu, and if I have to wear long pants, that's fine." But like, that's some alternative stuff that I would love to see more people wear. But the men's, quote unquote, men's clothing and dance is not the tea.
It's
Um, did you dance, Rafi?
No, I did not, but I'm agreeing with you. And if I may, just to kind of piggyback on everything that was said, like I hate wearing a suit. I'm just gonna be straightforward. I love seeing people wearing suits, but for me, I absolutely hate it. So just the whole thing, like every Easter, oh, you need to dress up, or like one Christmas because like I wasn't working or wasn't never working, but had to come out with my grandma. It's like, oh, you need to dress up, and it's like when I was thinking I was dressing up, like dressing up, it was like, no, that's disgusting. You need to put this on. And basically, what I ended up putting on was my work clothes. I was like, huh, like, huh. So it just doesn't like. I dislike the norm, and I really want to break it.
Yeah. We've talked about it a little bit, but like a little bit more in intersectionality. Like I think Quinn kicked us off with the fact that like growing up queer and black is something that's very hard. But if we're willing to and we're open to the idea, I'm more curious on hearing the terminology of, not terminology, should I say, but like intersectionality of being black and gender diverse. What does that mean? And is there specific scenarios that occur? And if a specific scenario that does occur, I guess, should you say, like Shiam explained, like, I don't want to wear this. Yes, I get told that I'm pretty wearing a dress and don't ever say that to me again, kind of situation. Are there experiences that occur or have occurred in your lives that you're willing to share? And if you don't, it's totally fine. Um, but like if that situations has occurred, how do you overcome that? So we could let the viewers know that if they have gone through the same situation, possibly, how did you overcome that? So again, intersectionality of being black and queer and gender diverse. What are some situations that have occurred, and how did you overcome that? Anybody can go. We can start with Quinn if you want to.
Um, yeah, I want to like touch back on some of the folks who are just like who grew up religious or were involved deeply in a church, because I feel like that was something that happened to me a lot too. And being like church and religion is huge to black people, right? Especially black Americans. And when I was younger, I was like forced to like wear the poofy dresses, Easter Sunday, the big hats. Like that was huge for my culture, and I hated every bit of it, every single bit of it. And one thing that I started to do like as I got older was just say, no, I'm not gonna do it. Well, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I don't want to do it. And that's easier said than done, because not a lot of people have that choice to say no. Um, but as a nerd and like thinking about Twitch and gaming, and especially as a Star Wars fan, um, I I always find myself like, can I say Star Wars here? Can we say Star
Yeah,
Wars?
yeah.
Okay.
I know that there
Um,
was those rules, but I don't know what those rules pertain. I heard you talking about it earlier when you were blurring your background.
as a gaming nerd, I always found like the things that were cut or made for women were never things that represented me, and that was huge. And gaming stuff all together, like the t-shirts and all that stuff, like I couldn't find the things that I wanted, as I was like, well, I like this shirt, but I don't like what it says, and I don't like the way I like what it says, but I don't like the way that it fits. I don't like that it's over here. I don't like that it's over there. And that's when I got like in this whole like perception thing, like the way someone perceives me and how I may look, right? Or who I am on the outside isn't who I am internally. Because how I identify internally does not match what I am on the outside or how I look on the outside, but that's not my problem. That's their problem. But people are going to assume whatever they want about you from how you look. Um, and yeah, I spiraled out of control mentally. So but I'm okay now. And now I just do whatever I want. And I feel like the internet and like Twitch space and there's a bunch of people that can relate to what I'm experiencing or have experienced. But back in like 1998, when you're being stuffed into a church dress that's poofy and itches, you don't have those experiences. You don't have those people around you where it's like a safe space or and whatnot. But also, you don't want to disrespect your parents and their culture and how important it is for them to have you just like seem normal. I don't know. I don't know. That's all I have to say. I hope that makes sense.
I get where you're coming from. I mean, like, I I went to a Christian school, surprisingly. Did I make it through Christian school? Absolutely not. Why? Because I love boys. So, uh being black and getting put into a church, again, going back to like being religious with white parents, it was already a struggle to be black and queer, and it was already a struggle to like have to like, even though my parents were gay, they wanted this lifestyle for me that they wanted to maintain because they wanted to like, I was their first kid and they're like, we want our son to be great, we want our son to be this, and I'm like, well, I don't want any of that. So I don't know what, you're gay so you should understand. And like being having gay white parents, I figured it'd be easier to talk to them about these things, but they had this different agenda for me. So like it's not easy. I get where you're coming from. It's not easy. And like wearing the clothes, when you go to this Christian school, you have to wear the certain outfits. And I already didn't want to be identified as a boy. So like I didn't want to wear that clothing anyways, but you had to, otherwise you get sent home. And if you get sent home, you have to deal with your parents and your arguments and things like that. So like I get where you're coming from. It makes sense to me. Uh I'm glad that you spoke about that. So thank you for speaking on that. Anybody else?
Yeah. No, completely understand. I literally used to throw like a fit. Like I hated wearing the like dresses to church, and like it just made me so upset, and like I already didn't have like a good experience at church because like I would be bullied by the church girls because like it was so gate kept. Like all the girls were like already friends, and I remember like I will remember this to the day. I was like, "Oh, did you guys watch that new Medea movie?" And they're like, "We watched that like weeks ago." Like, and I was just like, ever since then, like I just hated it. And thankfully, like my mom, like I would oversleep on purpose to not go to church, and then thankfully like I think she like got the hint, and like she just stopped asking, and like it was such a sigh of relief because like to this day like I just can't, like it was so horrible, and like just wearing the dresses like you said, like I genuinely could not. And thankfully, yeah, I had a really good experience with my mom, and she let me just not, I didn't have to wear them. Like if I didn't, like she would get me like the dress pants, and then I would still have to wear a blouse, which I was like, you know what, okay, like I'll do that, but like I'm tired of these itchy tights. I don't want to wear this dress. Like no thank you. So yeah, I completely understand, and I'm sorry that you had to go through that as well.
Did anybody else here come from like a religious background, like with their families? At all? You don't have to
I
like really like.
I kind of came from a religious background. Like we did Baptist stuff. I was my godmother or my mother's godmother. Like kind of forced us to be in choir and stuff back then, and wear dresses and all that other stuff, which was fine and dandy and stuff. I think the turning point for me, and when I started saying no, I mean I was saying no back in back in high school and stuff. Like I don't want to do it, but a big turning point for me was after going to one of my closest friends' funeral. She was only 19 when she passed away, and I called her Mini Me. She was bald. I had a mohawk at that time when I met her, but she was bald and she skateboarded everywhere. Well, when I went to her funeral, her family members, not her mother, because her mother couldn't really handle it mentally whenever all that happened, but her family members um, ended up putting on a dress on her and a wig in the casket. And all of us went up there to the funeral, and we looked, and we were like, wait a minute, why is Jasmine wearing, who did this? And we couldn't say anything. I'm like, no, I'm not going to be, I know that for a fact. If something happens to me, they better portray how I actually am and who I was. No matter life, death, nothing, I don't care. Respect my identity. You muted.
Sorry, it's my first day. I appreciate you sharing that, and I it's a very tough experience, and not knowing what you can do for your friend, knowing their true identity, true lifestyle. I think about that a lot. So I've gone through not the same exact situation, but been in a situation where I want to be like at a funeral. I'm like, this is not what they look like. Like scream and yell, and like you can't. You just have to. You sit there and you have to just acknowledge the good things and just move on. But we really want to be like, oh, so. Anybody else have any experiences that they would like to talk about involving gender diversity and the intersectionality? Oh, wait, sorry. Well, yeah. And occurrences that they've dealt with?
Can I say another thing?
Yeah, for sure.
Stories like what Sham just told, when it comes to Black and brown people, those stories don't ever get told. You know what I mean? Like, there's never going to, like, there's so many queer Black people who live their lives and die. And they're not getting a feature movie. They're not getting an autobiography or a documentary, or even being able to have that story told here in front of all these people. And I think that's what the importance of intersectionality is when it comes to Black folks, Black queer folks. Like, there's so many people who never got to live their authentic lives, their truth, and they have that erased. Sorry, that's all. Okay, there.
No, don't ever be sorry. Don't ever be
It's so
sorry.
true.
It's so
me
true.
so mad. It
So
makes me
true.
so mad and so sad. And I really think that people need to keep that in mind. Like, it's so important.
Yeah, first, don't ever be sorry for your voice being heard. That's what we're all here for. So you can speak as many times. We don't have to go in order. We can speak as much as we want. We're here for, there is a time limit, unfortunately, but if we have something to say in that time limit, feel free to say it. Like, I asked you all to be here because I want to hear the voices that represent our community in different aspects of our community in different locations. We're not all in the same place. And it's very fortunate to have you all here. So the stories that we have need to be heard, and that's why I asked the stream queens to be like, hey, we're doing this today because there are walks of life from the Black community. So all of our white friends need to take a step back and listen, because white privilege is a thing, and it's more privilege than you think you have. You may not have it all, but you definitely have more than we do. So listen to what we have to say, because the voices here are appreciated, and if you don't appreciate them, then be happy to leave, but pay us before you go. So moving on, before we move on to some of our next questions, we did get a question in the chat again, before we move on to our own personal questions here. But Gio said, what would your younger, if I'm cutting off somebody from speaking on the occurrences and experiences, please feel free to answer that. We lost Vixen, so if our things look off real quick, we will fix that in just 1 second. So wait, oh, they're right there. Snatch back, snatch back. Welcome back, welcome back. You're on mute as well. Welcome back. Hi.
Thank you. Oh, sorry. I was trying to read the question along with you, and then I clicked into a different room.
Oh, you're doing fine. But the question is, and again, if I did cut anybody off at all for the last question I asked, feel free to answer that question on top of this one as well. What would you tell your younger self to help navigate the challenges you've talked about in this panel so far? I feel like we're on RuPaul and you get to show you a picture of yourself and you're like, what would you tell little A, B, and C? But what would you what would you tell your younger self about the navigating the challenges that you've talked about in this panel so far? Anybody can speak. Anybody can go. If you need a second, I'll take your second. Sham.
Always be yourself unapologetically, no matter what. Be yourself. Be happy with yourself. Love yourself. I spent so much time as a teenager, especially like when I was in the closet, trying to distinguish how I felt and why I felt a certain way, and trying to see if there was loopholes in these religious books that we were forced to read. Trying to see, hey, maybe if I try this religion, there's a loophole. Maybe if I try this religion. I spent a lot of my 14 through 16 years reading different types of religious books, Bible, Quran, trying to find myself. When I knew who I was the whole time, I just was so scared to be myself. Be yourself and be happy with yourself and love yourself. That's it. That goes for everybody, not just myself.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go. You go.
Okay. No, like you said, be yourself. And like I would tell myself, like, this isn't gonna last forever. You will learn to love yourself and you will find yourself more and more each day. And you don't have to worry about wearing those dresses now. Those are temporary. Once you're older, you can buy your own clothes and you can do what you want. And yeah, just not to like be so discouraged, because that time that I was so upset and so hurt by wearing what I had to wear was only a fraction of the time compared to what I can do now with my own money, with my own clothes, and just I could be who I genuinely want to be now that I'm adult. I know that people saying growing up sucks, but to a certain extent, like you can do what you want. And you can buy what you want and you can be genuinely you without any explanation. So yeah, I think that's what I would tell younger me.
And go ahead.
Oh, no one else has to go?
I was gonna go, but I know you had something to go, so I was
Oh,
saying
all I
go
was
ahead.
gonna say, yeah, all I was gonna say to my younger self is I would have been bolder. Like, be bold. I, growing up, I didn't know how to define myself. I didn't have access to internet until I was like 15 and got on Tumblr, and that's a whole nother story. But it's like, I wish that I would tell my younger self, be bolder and be strong, and everything's going to work out. Say who you are, say how you feel, and don't be afraid. And that's really hard to do, but you're doing it now. And look, everything's going up, everything's coming up Quinn House. Okay, that's it. That's all I want to say.
For me personally, I literally would say to myself, if I could see myself even 10 years ago, for her, just you ain't hurting nobody. Be true to yourself. In time, you'll understand this more. And also that red and black hoodie that you got that you was forced to get an extra large, you could return if you leave the tag on next time.
I think I would just tell myself, along with obviously being yourself, but that's really important. I would think I would just tell myself to trust myself and to trust those feelings and allow myself to have those feelings and feel those feelings and really to dive into them, I think. Because I think I spent a lot of time resisting, thinking that these are things that I not should be or I should not be feeling and that I should not be trying to progress towards. But I really think it's super important to trust yourself, because if you try to ignore it, it's probably going to rear up in a pretty ugly way later in life. And also, stop watching white girls on YouTube to learn how to do makeup. You could watch melanated people too. That's what I would tell myself.
That one right there.
That part.
Literally, the room was muted, and everybody, you could just see that the excitement in the room. So thank you for that, Vixen. I really
I
appreciate
know.
that. If I was younger, I would tell myself, your brows will be even one day, and you will change somebody's life. Like, literally, it's so hard to like no, but talking about the experiences here, I know this sounds like such a silly thing to say, but like it gets better, and just like don't give up, because like you're gonna change people's lives one day, because it's just like you could like, I think I was talking to you all before we joined the panel, like in front of everybody. um I just feel like it's like uh you can change somebody's life. You don't have to change directly like everybody's lives, but like being on Twitch, people are looking in our chats, and we're talking about our experiences on our own community. So like you could have someone in there who doesn't know anything about themselves, not completely, but you could have an opinion that you're speaking on that could change somebody's life that day. So knowing that you're going to change lives is a good thing to find out and realize. So it gets better, and no matter where you're walking, you're going to change somebody's life, because you never know who's looking and who's around your community. That being said, gender diversity on Twitch and being Black, how has it treated everybody? Like terms of trolls, like have you made friends over gender diversity and being Black? Is there enough of that? Is there not enough of that? Do we need more? We could never not use enough representation of Black gender diversity and Black queerness on Twitch. Yes, all is fair and love and war.
I would say for me personally, I'm very new to Twitch, but it had, I think for me, a very positive impact, because I was able to find other people and other people could find me. I'm now a member of the Transpective group, and I feel like I came very shortly after we got the trans tag. And just me personally, it helped me find my community, and I met people like Rothy and Chalora, and it was really exciting because that's what I came to Twitch for, as I wanted to have some sort of social aspect, as it's been home for so long. Yeah.
I'd say the same. I've, along with meeting other creators who are like me, meeting other Black people like me was like a really big thing for me. So, I talked to Quinn. We know Quinn and I are BFFs. I talk to Quinn all the time about this. Like, wow, it's so cool to meet people who are like awesome like this, like who are into the things that we're into, who have the same backgrounds, almost the same backgrounds. Just, it's so great to relate to people. I mean, of course, trolls come and go. Trolls. At first, it used to bother me, but now I'm like, thank you for that view. Have a good one. Peace.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm besties with Flower. Flower and I don't talk as much as we did during the pandemic, because the world's opening up again. But Flower came to the Black History Month event that we held here on the Stream Queens channel, and was immediately like, if it wasn't for this event, I wouldn't have met more Black people on this platform. So like little things like this make a big difference. So that's why I was curious. Quinn, I didn't mean to cut you off. I know you were gonna say something, so I didn't mean to step in front of you. I apologize.
I'm good. I'm just taking on the emotions. I am good.
Yeah. How about you, Flower? How's being queer and Black in the Twitch worked out for you?
Well, like you said, that event literally like changed everything for me, because I grew up in such a small town where like there's not many people like me. So it just opened up so many doors, and it opened up so like just even that event, like just realizing how much a lot of us shared the same stories and the same walk of life, if you will. Like it just, I don't know. Like I'm so grateful that I decided to do this and stick with this. Because it's just like it's been one of the best things that happened. And I'm just really, really grateful that I have met like my people and people like me. Like it just makes you feel like not so alone, and it makes it's easy to talk to those people, and like it just like you like when we first started talking, it like felt like as if we've known each other for years. Like it just felt like I already felt the connection. Like I appreciate all of you here. Like I know that we all just met, but like I don't know, it's just like, like when you find your people, it's just like yes, finally. So um yeah, I don't know, I'm just really happy.
Yeah. Um, uh, Still waiting for you to move to Seattle. Rothy, did you have anything that you wanted to? If you don't move to Seattle, Flower, I'm gonna lose it. Did you have anything that you wanted to add on or talk about?
Yes. Honestly, if it wasn't for so many people, London, Phasia, some Cauliflower, so many people that I met, um, because of being here on Twitch, I don't think I would be the person I am today. I don't think I would have discovery that I have today. Honestly. In a short and simple answer.
Yeah.
Also, the
Who?
trolls come and go. Sorry.
Oh
But you
yeah,
know
trolls
what?
come and go. What is the this is just a random off-topic question. What is the one like water off a duck's back, but like something that I'm like, that's a creative way to troll me? Like what's the most creative thing that a troll has said to you as a queer black person like yourself? For instance, someone called me their high school mascot the other day. They're like, I'm reporting you for being weird. They brought Noed as a rank 2 in Dead by Daylight, and I said, imagine bringing Noed as a rank 2. And they said, imagine dressing like my high school mascot. And I was like, oh my god, your high school mascot must be stunning! Oh my god, thank you so much. And then we gifted them a sub and said, welcome to the community. So what is something that a troll has said to you that's like water's off a duck's back, but directly towards you as a queer, gender diverse black person? Just an off-topic question. I wanted to
This was one that sticks out to me that happened a few months ago, and it's like don't ever say it. Like I've realized at that moment, like don't ever say this to me. Person comes in and instantly was like, "What's up, my black?" And then it's like, "No, like I'm not yours, first of all. So let's get that right. You can cut. We could try to correct that real quick, and you could stay. But other than that, I'm not your black, and whatever. Like you can say, hey, and my name's right there, or you can ask what my pronouns are, or you can look at my bio. It's not that hard."
Yeah. The other one I got was good game, bro. That was my favorite. I was in full drag, stunning as ever, and someone's like, good game, bro. And I was like, bro. And then my mods were like, London, please don't. And I was like, bro. Oh no. And so the community was like, London, don't you do it, girl. And I was like, just breaking that keyboard. Shan, what about you? Flower, what about you?
I had tweeted about this actually like a few weeks ago.
I think
Someone came in. You saw it?
I think I saw it going through your Twitter.
In this Juneteenth, so forgive me. Freaking oh, you're pretty for a black girl. Excuse me? First off, black women are very freaking beautiful. Black presenting women are beautiful. Black people are beautiful. First off. Secondly, thanks for that backhanded comment. Bye-bye. Get out of here. So
Who was
long.
that? I just want
Ew.
to talk to him.
That's what I'm saying, right?
We
Just want to talk to them. Like, not in Pride Month. Out of here. Get out of here.
Yeah, not during Pride Month.
Not during Pride Month.
There's a quote that I learned from one of the. We'll talk about it later. Actually, we're not gonna talk about it now. There's just a quote that said, "Gay people are scary. I'll never mess with them again." I think that's one of the one of Krusty Krab's friends. I don't know if y'all saw that. Krusty Krab's friend was like, "Oh my god, gay people are scary. I'll never mess with them." I'm like, not during Pride Month or not. You can be mad at anybody in this community. I could not be talking to Rothy, but during Pride Month, if Rothy was being attacked, I'd be like, sit down, you troll. You know, coming in with my little black unicorn. My unicorn's not white, it's black. Quinn, Vixen, any things that you've I mean, you don't have to talk about it. We can move past this question.
I'm thinking there's so much. There's so much. I'm like, I don't know. People come in and like say something about my hair. They're like, "Is that a wig? Or why are you wearing a wig? Or why do you have this tag? Or are you gay? Are you like?" There's so much. Like I don't even know. And I laugh about it all. And I snatch my wig on stream. I do all types of stuff. I don't care.
Yes.
But it's like, oh, I don't know. I can't. That's a big question. But yeah, I don't know why trolls be like that. Like they really think they're gonna get under your skin.
Yeah.
Get under my skin, post my social security number, and then pay me.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, for personally, you can have my credit score and my social security number. It's not gonna get you very far. But if you want to raise my
You
credit,
want my debt, right? Get that.
yeah, fix
Can
my
I say
debt.
that?
student loans.
I had a weird situation happen a few months ago where there was trolls who were donating dollars to me, to talk crap on that little thing, thinking that it's going to be said inside the chat, but I don't have that on. So they were just donating money for no reason. Like, wow, you look very dumb right now.
Thanks for
Didn't get
paying.
Thank you for paying me. You can say whatever you want. Give me $1.
No, for real. I've had that too, and I'm just like, and then like I had mine on, but like it blurs out any like slurs or anything like that that's like bad. Like it just automatically just like well, I don't know about automatically. Mine was set up that way, but I was just like, you look really stupid. Like you just gave me money just to try to see if it would say that, and it didn't, and now you look dumb.
Oh,
Like
are we talking about the thing that reads your sub thingy, like, or the biddies?
Or
Mhm.
donations.
Yeah,
Mhm.
donations.
Oh, I don't have that on either.
Yeah,
I
I
actually
turned
turned off
mine
all my
off.
alerts. Yeah,
Same.
yeah.
Same.
They don't need all
Um,
that.
just a heads up, if anybody has any questions, they can feel free to ask us. I do have a couple questions personally here first. I don't know who wants to. Vixen, did you have anything to say as well? I know you're just hanging out there.
My trolls were not creative, unfortunately. I'm interested if you have any creative reads, but they were not creative to me.
Yeah. And the thing about trolls is like I think it's like not a big deal to me to have a troll in chat. It doesn't really get under my skin. Just because as a performer, or like a black person, I get called the N-word on the street. I don't have moderators on the street to like delete that person from life, you know? It happened, it's gonna happen. I gotta just, keep going about my day. So I like get made fun of, things get said in person. So you have to learn how to manage that because online I'm like that's I've been called worse, friend. H2O556, thank you for your comment, but like you could do better than that next time, like I don't know like if that's their actual name, but that feels like a troll name. So another question is, I just want to know what people have to think about this. If we don't identify with these communities, and you don't feel comfortable answering these questions, you don't have to. But moving right along, why does the Black Trans Lives Matter need its own statement specifically? This is a very powerful question. And if you all have any and everything to say, I want every white person in this chat to listen to what you have to say. I think this is a very important question. I don't think that I'm knowledgeable of why it's needed. I'm sure some of you are, and if not all of you are, but I'm sure not everybody is needed. And I pray to God, if there are trolls in chat, I'm going to lose it because today is not the day for this. But again, the question is, from one of our moderators asking this question. Oh, sorry. Let me go back up. I apologize. Into the unknown. Why does the Black Trans Lives Matter need its own specific statement? its own statement specifically. Who would like to talk about that first? Rafi, you specifically were day 1 through 100 for the trans tag. You did not stop adding Twitch for 100 days about how we needed a trans tag. Did you want to talk to anybody and everybody?
Absolutely. Just because how do you start by saying we already deal with deal with homophobia and colorism, and then there's transphobia within our own community as that, and then add on that being Black is like, it's just like we need to protect our trans sisters, brother, or non-binary, whatever they identify by. We need to protect them, and it's like that's why we say Black trans lives matter, because I'm tired of it being that look on the news or look in Twitter or whatever it is, and it's another one of a family member in our spectrum being is gone, and news is not speaking about it. Let's literally unpack that.
Vixen, I know you turned your mic on to say something and I didn't mean to cut you off. I apologize. Did you want to say something as well?
Oh, it's all good. I was just gonna say, just unfortunately, it's needed because people need to be reminded that even within our own communities, let alone just the world alone, um, there's still this horrible, I think, sort of social food chain where trans people are at the bottom. Of course, there's Black people, but trans people will be even lower. And if you're a trans Black person or whatever, it's going to be even lower. So we need to be reminded that to include everybody in that, because, these are the people that are really being affected and being murdered and being killed even more so. And it's not being talked about. So it's very important that it is talked about. It is being talked about, more so now, but it's important that this conversation is happening, and it needed to be happening for a long time before this. And it's going to probably, unfortunately, continue to be happening and need to be happening, the open conversation, just to remind people, sadly, that, these lives do matter, including trans people as well. Even if you aren't faced with that every day, or you think you don't know trans people, it's very real, and it's very important.
Quinn?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey.
Um, they y'all said everything I really was feeling, and I that's so important. And I love that term that you said, Vixen, about the social food chain. Is that what you said? Like social food chain? Like that's a real thing, because when the things that are glamorized in our society when it comes to being queer, and I'm saying glamorized in the sense that, it's being put out there and what people think, especially when it comes like, okay, when people think gay men, they like, they're not really thinking about Black people, right? They're thinking about a certain type of thing in their head, people who don't understand our culture, our spaces, all of that, not just as Black people, but just as queer people. And when it comes to trans folks, like Vixen said, like we are already at the bottom in any, especially if we are Black and brown. And it's really heckin' hard. And I think it's very important for us to bring attention to and break away from what's put out there in, so like in media, right? What people think trans people are. We need to bring more attention to trans women and mask trans men, all of this, like, and Black trans individuals get it the hardest. It's not saying that other people who are trans that aren't Black don't have those same struggles. It's just those struggles are like vastly different. And yeah, wow, that's very emotional, and I don't want to cry, but y'all hit the nail on the nail thing.
I'm 100% there with you, because like that's why I was taking like so long to like get myself together to say it, because this is something that is real.
Can I just say, I mean, I don't identify as trans, but I stand up for my trans friends and my Black trans friends. But let's not forget that Pride Month wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Black trans people to begin with. Simple as that. That's all I gotta say.
I said this during I said this during my colorism panel. We did a panel earlier about colorism, talking about the racism within the Black community, anywhere and everywhere, because it's a thing, and it's unfortunate that it is a thing. Um, and just an example is someone who wasn't a person of color wanted to show the movie Paris is Burning with their community, and they had a lot of knowledge about it. And I saw the tweet, and I said, in my mind, I was like, I love that you're doing that, but that's a movie that I think you could co-host with Black trans community members, because that would bring the most knowledge about what that movie is about, because ballroom culture was a safe space for Black trans community members and trans community members, along with other queer cultures, of course, but like without ballroom and that culture, we would not be here, like, correct me if I'm wrong, and if anybody has any more knowledge than what I'm about to say, then you can feel free to be like, Lennon, you're incorrect. But sometimes ballroom culture and ballroom was like the starts of Pride. Like those are mini Pride festivals, and then we moved on to bigger and better things. Obviously, Stonewall was the first Pride, of course, but those were safe spaces, and Pride is considered a safe space where we can hang out with everybody. But Pride now is not considered a safe space, because we have people like cis white men in underwear drinking alcohol, making out with each other, thinking that it's going to be a giant orgy, when in reality we started with throwing bricks because Black people wanted to be visible, and Black trans people wanted to be visible. So please remember that, and understand that. You can make out with whoever you want during Pride, but please know that you making out with each other at Pride in your underwear, drinking at the Leather Daddy bar, was started by Black trans women sacrificing themselves so you could live your best life. That being said, before I go down that rabbit hole of fuck you, pay me attitude, my other question is, this is going to be one that I really want people in the chat to respect the panelists on. And I'm just going to be honest with you, and this is a really shitty subject to unveil to everybody, but we want Black trans panels on these panels. There are no Black trans streamers on Twitch that I am aware of. And we had spent a whole entire, and if you all know people, please send them our way, because we spent a whole month during Black History Month finding Black trans people for a panel, and it took us till the last second to find them. And so I would love for more Black trans people to speak up and reach out to us, because we'd want them to be included, which is why we named this was going to be a trans panel, and we had to name it gender diversity, because there are no streamers of color who are trans in the Black community, which is sad to say, because it's just what it is, you know what I mean? So my thing that I want to ask everybody, and if this is going to cause some emotions to everybody, but category is what you're right, Lennon, that came about for trans people wanting to be validated by their own. Correct, Anthony. I appreciate you. Thank you for calling it categories. I forgot that term. But when we I have trans community members who are Black trans community members in my community, but they are busy and they are tired of speaking on subjects. So if we do find Black trans community members in the streaming community, you better send them to other Black members, because we want to know who they are and we want to know where they're at. We do have a couple, but not a lot. So what issues do Black trans people experience, and how can people help? If anybody wants to speak, I personally would like to take 30 seconds. Juneteenth is a day of freedom, for independence of Black people, but not everybody in 2021 has made it this far. So I don't want to see comments in chat. I don't want to see any bullshittery in chat. I want to take at least 30 seconds to represent the silence for the lives we have lost between 2019 and 2021, either during the pandemic or the lives that were murdered due to people being Black and trans. So that will start now.
You're muted, London.
You're muted.
Sorry. Thank you for the 30 seconds. I wanted to acknowledge that the lives that we've lost for our trans community members, because we unfortunately there have been quite as many Black trans lives that we've lost, that those people just wanted to experience life and wanted to live their lives. They didn't do anything wrong or incorrect. They just wanted to exist, and that didn't get to happen for them. So please remember lives that were sacrificed us so we could celebrate things like Pride. Juneteenth is a different story, but still those lives matter to help us get to the freedom that we are here for today. There is a lot of emotions in that, so I understand if any of the panelists need to take a second, but I do want to know what we can do. Yeah, go ahead, Quinn.
I was just gonna say, I completely agree with you how hard it is to find people in these groups. Like, I had said this earlier before Sham was here, or maybe Sham was here, but like just trying to find another queer Black and like tweeting about it and like, hey, tag this someone who is like me, and finding trans, like Black trans people in this space is even harder. And then I sometimes I feel like I'm in all these like white queer spaces where I'm like always the only Black trans person in spaces, and then people are like will say things like, not say things, but it feels like it's centering, and I'm like, no, I'm not trying to center. I'm just trying to say like my identity is important, and it would be so awesome to know people like me in this space too. I don't know what to do anymore. Like, you tweet, people only want to engage with your pain and your trauma on Twitter too, and that's really weird as a Black person. If you're like mad about something or you're angry or well, they it's like, okay, retweet. And if you're just putting something out there, we're just like, hey, I just want to find my people. No one interacts with it. I don't know. I wouldn't have found Sham if it wasn't for Twitch Sings. I wouldn't have found any of y'all if it wasn't for Deer. Like, what do we do? But also, how scary is it to put yourself out there and be like, hey, this is me? That's all.
That's just like an example of why Black trans lives matter. There's no question about it. Quinn has spoken, and this is the reason why. One, that statement is specific of why that matters, and two, this is why we ask this question of how we can help, because people are looking for other people and people are concerned. So do any of you have any more ideas of how we can help as well?
I know that I try to make it as safe as a space in my community as possible, to make it more inviting for people, not just Black, not just trans, Black and trans, to come in and feel safe. And we need to get better at creating these safer spaces, because I'm even seeing, not just in the Black community, but also in the gay community, also in the gay Black community, we're not quite inviting. I've seen it. I was telling you before about being called butch from other gay people, or being called stud, or any of that. I was like, we need to be more inviting and quit with these extra labels, and let that person tell you what we are. This is my pronouns, this is who I am, instead of trying to label other people. We need to get better at that.
Oh. Just to piggyback off of what you said, it's gonna be short and simple. Let their voices be heard. Like, don't how do I want to let them be heard? Like, point blank period. Don't give any suggestions. Don't say anything. Sometimes people just want to be heard, and they deserve to be heard. I feel like you said, the labels. I feel like people are just so quick to judge you based on how you look, how you walk, how you talk. Let people explain themselves. Let people tell their story. Like, I don't know. I think that's one big way to help, is by let their voices be heard.
I don't think I really have to. Go ahead,
Go ahead. You go ahead.
please.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, just, as myself being a Black trans person, I just want to say, like, anybody watching right now, obviously you are not alone. We are all here with you, and everybody on the panel. I just want to say, hopefully, moving forward, I'm very excited that I met you all, and you have a friend in me. And if anybody ever needs to talk about anything, I am always awake, literally always. Even if you just need an ear, I'm here. And anybody in the chat, that goes for you too. If you just need an ear or something, I'm here. I see you, and I can hold that space for you.
Yeah, and if you're just coming in, I know that we just hit a different time limit of front page. I think that we're on the front page right now. We are hosting a Juneteenth event with the Stream Queens, and we are talking about gender diversity. And right now we're talking about trans lives. So if you're here and you're new, please respect that. You're welcome to join. You're welcome to talk with us. You're welcome to ask questions. We do have about 8 to 10 minutes left. I can't count, but this is an important topic. I would like to say I agree with you, Sham. And I include myself of also wanting to be better, because even though I'm a non-binary human being, I talk about a lot of things, and maybe the content for most people is funny. My personal content, you have to think about it. Like, maybe someone's content is great for the majority of the community, but a little bit, you have to be welcoming to everybody in your community. And I think that's important, because maybe some of the conversations that I have aren't conversations that everybody else wants to have, and maybe you could reach out to someone, or you could turn somebody away with the conversations you have. So be welcoming to everybody on the conversations that we're having on our channels and stuff like that, because sometimes it could be a deal breaker for somebody, and they probably don't, like Sham said, like, we want to make sure people feel welcome no matter what, but not everybody will feel welcome with certain conversations that are happening. So we got to be better about the conversations we have in general, and more welcoming to the trans community members, because we want to just have a safe space. Yeah.
To interject, I mean, not saying that we have to be absolutely perfect, because not all of us,
Correct.
no one's perfect. No one's
Correct.
perfect, but when you're willing to have that conversation and say, hey, this was kind of left field for me, And as that person who's hearing that critiqueness, like if you're hearing that critique and you have to hear it and actually hear what they're saying, and try to think of it on both sides of the park, not just your side, but also their side. And like, okay, I have a better understanding. I'm trying to do better. Simple as that.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a tough conversation to have. And sorry, Rathi, I didn't see you raise your hand. I apologize.
No, I was gonna say basically like just be welcoming, be aware of what you're saying, be like if anyone comes in new, old, doesn't matter. Just as I'm gonna say from my perspective, I'm about chill vibes and having a good time. New or old, you are welcome here. Just all I ask is respect, and we can all have a good time. Whatever name you give me, I'm gonna respect that, and I'm gonna have everyone else respect that. Whatever your pronouns are, you are valid. Don't ever let anyone tell you otherwise. And if you need someone to talk to, and someone can say from experience, I will help you in every which way I can. Even if it's just virtually, I will do everything I can to help. That, like, seriously. Sorry. But seriously, like, yeah.
With that being said, we do have about 3 minutes left, so I want to go around the room and talk to you all about what is something that you want people to take away from your conversations here today, each and every one of you. On top of that, where can we find you and who you are and what you stand for? Any of those. You can answer any of those. You can answer all of those. But I want to take these last 5 minutes to do that. We'll start.
Yeah. One thing I really want people to take away from our conversations tonight, whether you're lurking, whether you're here for the first time, or whether you're here for the fourth time, trans Black lives matter. There are trans Black people in this space. There are gender diverse Black people in this space. Widen your circles, let go of your biases. We exist. And I'm Control Quinn. My pronouns are they, them. I'm Control Quinn on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Zanga. I'm Control Quinn everywhere. That's it.
Quinn, Zanga, I love you. It took me a second. Up next, we have Sham Bam. Thank you, ma'am.
All right. So what I want everyone to take away from our conversation today, I mentioned it earlier. Love yourself and respect others. Simple as that. Love yourself and respect others. And I'm Sham Bam. Thank you, ma'am. You can find me anywhere with that same name. And yeah.
Yeah.
Wash your ass too. I'm sorry. Don't forget that. That's important.
Yeah.
Take
It's
shower.
actually, you know what? Respect everybody, but literally respect everybody, respect pronouns, and most importantly, wash your ass. Okay. Call the flower. Yeah. Call the flower. Where can we find you? God damn it, Sam.
Oh my gosh. Okay. You can find me on Twitch. My pronouns are she, they. I think one of the things to take away from this is simply listen. Listen to these experiences. Like, this is your time to listen. Once again, we don't do this for free. We do not educate for free. Listen. And there was something else. I think that was it. Oh, I'm a team member of Sisters of the Fog.
Vixen Von Flex.
Hi, you can find me literally everywhere, just Vixen Von Flex. And I just hope everybody takes away today a little bit of mindfulness going forward. And remember that you can tell your Black friends that you love them every day. It doesn't have to be Black History Month or Juneteenth. Go forward with the mindfulness and just love the people around you that are important to you.
And last but not least, taking my gig, my eye makeup, all my talent, Lennon Bradshaw. Do you want to go? I mean, Rothy, sorry.
You can find me Rothy on Thing here on Twitch, Rothy for most of my socials. I just want everyone to take away from this. Black trans lives matter and will always matter. In regards to gender, it is if you're still discovering who you are, that's fine. It's not an assignment that has a due date. Take your time and just discover who you are and live your best life. Literally.
Yeah. That is our gender diverse panel. Again, my name is Lennon Bradshaw. You can catch me hosting the drag show later tonight in full drag. Yes, I will be in drag. The weather is cooling down, thank God. But I am Twitch's first Black drag artist to be partnered here on this platform. And I really am excited to have all these amazing people here. Please catch them all on their personal channels. And if you have any questions or you have to have a safe space, I would recommend these people before anybody else. So make sure you follow them. Again, thank you so much. Up next, we have Luke Ami hosting the Black Independent Women's Panel. So stick around for that. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you so much. See you later. Bye-bye.